So here we are with my friend Julie. She's gonna talk a little bit about what happened here at Rainbow Donuts. It sounds like the store, but it sounds like they're telling the owner there, somebody's telling the owner that they don't want homeless people there. Is that correct?
Yes, the owner of the business, of the donut shop, and all the other businesses, 7-Eleven, all those. What it is the security's coming and standing in front of the door and won't let us go into the donut shop or any of the other businesses and be their customer unless we have permission from them. And they're like what is that? They're barring the entrance of a business and causing their business to lose, patrons in it. And
kind of like discriminatory, it sounds like.
Again, he called me, excuse my language, but he called me a homeless piece of shit.
Wow.
And what he does is he's the only one so far that he has one other officer that comes out here and backs him up. But what he does is we'll be sitting on the wall over there after we bought coffee. I smoke, so I go outside. I don't sit inside. And I play the hotspot and all that. And but he comes up behind us, and I'm like sitting with my daughter, and we're minding our own business, just talking, and he comes up behind us calling my daughter a bitch and cunt and calling me names, calling me the homeless piece of shit. And without us even, there's been no incident or altercation that warranted him approaching us like that.
It's like inciting something.
Right, he comes and he does that, and then when we respond, he turns around and he grabs his phone and his mace, and he has it in his hand, and he runs back to wherever he parks his vehicle at. And he jumps inside his vehicle and he calls the cops on us, and he says that we're being aggressive to him. And so that's what he's doing, is he's inciting us from behind us, and on the private property, and he's giving cause for us to take action, to defend ourselves. And so the other night, I had 2 days prior to that, he had called the police on me, and like I said, he told the cops that I was loitering or trespassing. And so they came up to me and they go, Julie, we're giving you the trespassing warning. And I go, but I was a customer in there. I have my dentist there, everything, And they go, as long as you're doing business there, it's okay, as long as you're being a customer at one of the businesses. He goes, you're not trespassing and you're not loitering then. And the security officer goes to them, she has to eat inside. All right, so when he said that, I said, okay, now we're coming to a agreement that, okay, if I eat, even though he can't tell me where I can eat and where I can't eat, he's at least saying, okay, you have to eat inside. So he's like saying it's okay for me to come inside at that point, okay? And so the next day I went in and I bought a hotspot ticket and a coffee and a Coke, and I came outside because I watched the hotspot monitor through the window, and I smoked a cigarette or whatever. And so I'm sitting there and waiting for the draws to come up, and they finally came up, and I went in to check my ticket, and I'd won $450. And so it's the first time I've ever won any amount of money at all in my life. So I was like, happy. And I went inside, and I had no problem. I didn't think anything about going inside, because he had said you have to go inside if you're gonna eat, or you have to eat inside. And so he comes up, I'm back outside, they paid me out the money, and I'm back outside, and not 5 minutes went by, and he comes up behind me and my daughter, and he goes, that's bullshit that you won. He goes, your daughter's a bitch. And my daughter steps onto the property, and she steps onto the property to buy a pack of cigarettes because the owner wanted to know if we were gonna buy something after winning the money. I go, well, yeah, and but so we step onto the property, and he has his mace in his hands. He goes, I'm gonna do pepper spray on you. And we go, we're not even doing anything, dude. What's your problem here? I go, you just told me that I had to eat inside the donut shop.
Wow.
And so, you entrapped me is what you're doing. And now you come up and you're calling my daughter names. You're inciting me, you're provoking me, because I'm gonna stand up for my daughter, I'm gonna stand up for myself, He goes, oh, you're just a homeless piece of shit. And I go, well, if I'm a homeless piece of shit, what does that make you? A working piece of shit? I mean, what does that make you? And he goes, well, I'm gonna call the cops now because you're being aggressive towards me. And I go, dude, I go, you're totally coming up behind us every time. You never come around in front of us, and you're coming up behind us, and you're what is it? Your defamation of character. You're defaming us in public around the people that we're around every day.
Yeah.
And I go, plus I'm copyrighted, and you can't just go and take a picture of me and post it in the donut shop, and I haven't even been to court. No court has told me that, no judge has told me that I can't go on the property there. I've never, there's never no destruction to the property. I've never even had an argument with anyone on the property except for him. All right, and so because I stepped onto the property when he called my daughter names, the cops were pulling up, and, you know, they had to make a U-turn, so they're sitting at the light watching us. And so they pulled up, and at first they were like, you know, well, no, he can't be doing that. And you know, it's like, then all of a sudden it goes, well, you need to stand up and put your hands behind your back because you're on the property. And I go, you just told me to sit on the property, told me to have a seat, you know, take a seat. And I asked you, how come you're treating me like a criminal when I was a customer? All right, you know, I don't get how it goes from 1 to 100, where I'm the one doing the wrong just because the security officer, you know, you're not even asking what he's doing to cause the problem, you know?
So they're just discriminating against,
oh, absolutely.
They want to run all the homeless out of this
Absolutely, he has a problem against homeless people, and I've said that to him. And so through all of that, you know, he did a private citizen arrest on me. And so I went to, 5 minutes after I won the $450, I went to jail. And and plus I was subject to search. They searched me 3 different times. Male, I'm female, male on female, all right? He went and basically into my pockets, under my shirt, everything, all right? And so I felt like I was like, you know, it was too invasive for what the problem was, you know. And I hadn't stolen nothing. I don't steal. I don't, you know. I pay my way everywhere I go. And he's searching my pockets. He kept wanting to fill the change. I had like pennies, because I always pick up pennies off the ground, and I had a bunch of pennies in my pocket, you know. And he must have thought it was a lot of quarters or something, or dollar pieces or something, because he kept wanting to check my pocket, you know. And then when we got to the station, the same cop, he's grabbing me by the arm, and he's telling me to turn towards the wall and read their sign that says if we bring any drugs or any weapons or drugs into the station, that we can get it for contraband or whatever, and it's a felony or whatever. And I go, dude, I go, what? Now I'm a drug addict and all this, and here I was a customer that won money off a state-ran lottery. You know, they paid. I go, how come they paid me out? If I wasn't a customer in their eyes as the shop owner and running it, how come they paid me out? Yeah. They would have told me to go somewhere else and get paid out, you know, if I wasn't allowed in there. Well, so what he did is he went in there with the police officer, and the owner, me and my daughter had went in and asked the owner, you know, what's up? You know, why do you have a problem with us being a customer here? And he goes, I don't have a problem with you guys being a customer here. He goes, the problem I have is that the property owner, the security, and then if the police are called, he goes, are pressuring him not to serve us as customers because we're homeless, okay? And I have my dentist there, all right? When he became my dentist, it's over 3 years ago, all right? That guy wasn't even a security officer there. Yeah. And so now if I'm not allowed on the property, all right, how am I supposed to get my dental plates redone? How am I, you know, I have to go to the same dentist because they take the impressions. But more importantly, it's private property with public access. So it's like anybody, they have no control. It's not gated. It's not gated to where they can control who is coming on the property and who isn't coming on the property.
Well, it sounds like the whole premise was wrong in the first place. They're just discriminating against the homeless. They don't want homeless there, period. Absolutely. Doesn't matter how good you are, what you buy. Right. Yeah.
So I went in there and I told the owner, I go, I don't mean no disrespect to you whatsoever. I go, but I want you to know that I may be homeless, but I'm a customer when I step in here. And my housing shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is whether I'm paying you for whatever I buy. All right, that I'm not stealing from you, I'm not causing any damage in your store, and I'm not arguing with you, causing any disruption whatsoever, bothering other customers or anything.
Yeah.
I go, that's what should matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, not the fact of my housing, what
Yeah.
housing I am. I go, the reason I'm in your window is because I smoke cigarettes, so I have the courtesy to step outside, because you know, I can go ahead and just light up a cigarette and not care what you say, you know, and be disrespectful. But I'm not. I step outside to smoke a cigarette, and I look through the window because you have the monitor for the hotspot, you know. And I go, you don't want people in your window, you know, blocking your view of, I don't know why you're worried about what is going on the public sidewalk. You should be more concerned about what's going on inside your store. You know,
well, you're probably not blocking the whole view anyway, just by standing
right,
there.
No,
I mean,
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm smoking a cigarette.
It just sounds like a homeless situation. I wish if you had a suit and tie and
right.
rolled up in a Mercedes, they wouldn't say anything.
I'm employed.
Yeah. But yeah, they still consider you a homeless person.
Yeah.
That's why sounds like they're doing that.
I'm employed. Yeah. I work. I have a job. I work 3 to 12 every night.
But for some people, that's not enough. For some people, if you don't have a house and a nice car, then you're trash, and they don't want you anywhere around them.
Right.
That's just how it is.
But you know, as far as him being a security officer, I feel like he's like gang stalking me or whatever. Not that a gang is doing that. You know,
but he's
using his badge, and he's using the Anaheim police force to back him up, and he's lying about it. You know, I'm not aggressive to him.
So trying to entrap you or something.
Yeah, well, that's what he did when he told them that I could go inside and eat.
Yeah.
Okay, if one day I can go inside and eat, the next day I'm getting arrested for trespassing.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, and so I ended up going to jail. They decided to release me, and I go to court, and so they asked me, "Are you going to get a restraining order?" I said, "Yes, a vexatious restraining order on him." So you know, it's whatever I have to do because he's like slandering me.
So your court date is April 6th?
April 6th, yeah, North Fork.
I should try to follow up with you on that. Thanks for sharing.
Definitely, definitely.
So, friends, please share the video. Do join Homeless Advocates for Christ on Facebook. Let's pray that more people are more sympathetic to people on the streets and not discriminating against their rights. It's a common thing happening, though, in our country. It's an awful thing, but thanks for your prayers and support. Let's pray for change. I know together we can make a difference. May God bless y'all. You seek first His kingdom always. Bye-bye.